working.
Okay. All right. Well, and it just stopped, so we'll just
Good.
wait just one more minute here. Um,
It's
just in case your children are wondering, Presley is still in my space every day. Children, as I walk through the building, will say, "Are the dogs still there?" So there's Presley, and Tico's also here. So they don't get visitors right now, but they do come to school every day. So, Tico, you want to come over? Tico is in desperate need for a haircut. Glenn has been giving all the dogs haircuts since the pandemic started, so it's got that little brown face going on. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, huh? A little bit after 12, and I know some of you are on your lunch, so I hope this works out for you. So good news is Sam's still doing really great with COVID on our campus. We've still only had that one learner that was positive for COVID that took the test proactively before school started and found out the first day of school that they were positive, and no spread from that, no other positive cases, no staff positive cases. There's most certainly a lot of staff and learners staying home anytime they have any symptoms. They stay off campus. And so that keeps us busy. But of all of them, and almost all of them have been tested, and none of those were positive. So that feels really great. I know that, the other schools in our area are bigger schools, but we're most certainly ahead of the curve, which feels really great. And I really I think we owe all of that to the families being really consistent and communicating, and that is so helpful. Last Monday, I met with the staff of the reopening committee, and so there's about 30 on that group, and so we discussed where things were at that time, knowing that Indiana just reopened to stage 5 on September 26th. And of course, the mentality of that group was like, gosh, we want to have our kids back on campus. And how do we do that safely? And so we brainstormed some ways to, as we added more kids into the different studios, how to brainstorm how to do lunches to keep kids apart and so forth. And so we left that meeting saying if the numbers stay consistent, that we want to start with full hybrid mode when we return from fall break. However, unfortunately, since that time that we met, there's been several things that have changed. I kind of want to go over that with you and share that and kind of let you know what the plan is now. So as I shared, Indiana reopened to stage 5 on September 26th. And I've talked to a lot of doctors in the community who are very worried about that, feeling as if that we're not ready for that as a state. So I know, we could all have very different political views about the why and the what, and there's a governor's race, and the two governors have different opinions about that. And I also know there's a lawsuit right now that bars and restaurants are suing the state. So I don't know all of the politics of that, but, it'll be curious what that will do. Of course, that happened last Saturday, and this past Friday, so a week ago from Saturday, this past Friday was the largest amount of positive cases in the state of Indiana. So we went from about 761 cases last Tuesday to over almost 1,500 cases on Friday. That's concerning. And that's the largest of all since the COVID started in March. And of those, in Indiana, 3,500 Hoosiers have lost their lives to COVID, and over 13% of those cases from Friday were children. Let's see. In Indiana, the Floyd County's positive rate had been down. It had been between, many of you probably know this, between 4% and 6% for a couple of weeks from that 8, 9, 10, 11 that it was prior to that. And then the local numbers went back up to 8% on the week of September 21st. And then this past week, it's back to 11%. So that, of course, doesn't feel helpful. And then if we look across the river, Kentucky had its largest day on record on Saturday with 1,300 new cases, 250 of them from Jefferson County. and about the same as Indiana, about 13% of those cases are children. So almost all of our families that asked to start hybrid early over the past few weeks, we've been able to incorporate them into the building. We currently have 9 families on the wait list, with about half of them wanting to switch from like full-time off-campus to hybrid, or from hybrid to family support program. So I'm so grateful. I know Prana, I think, is on the call, for all the work that she and the Cupola crew do to incorporate and adjust all those. But I have not even talked to the reopening committee, because I have been researching all this for the last couple of days about where things are. But because this uptick around the state, we're going to hold off on the hybrid, and we'll have another meeting with families on that Tuesday that we return, October 20th, and see about starting the full hybrid on that following week, which is the 26th. So right now, full hybrid is on hold. We'll have another family meeting on Tuesday, October 20th at noon, to see where things are then. At this point, I'll have Melissa go ahead and open up the chat. If you'd like to see about your child starting hybrid schedule earlier, many of the studios do have some spaces for hybrid, that we could still bring kids in early if that's a need of your families. I mean, our first goal is to support safety and physical health, and the second goal is to support families and all the needs that they have. So, please, if your child's in hybrid, all you have to do is email those studios and say, can my child start early? And they'll let you know where those numbers are. And if you want to switch a program from like hybrid to full-time off campus, then just use that form on the Cupola notes that went out today or last week. That form is on there. I know right now, currently, we have 9 learners on that wait list. And so I'll be working with those studios to see about incorporating them in, at least for those that just want to come in early for hybrid. We really appreciate, all the encouragement. And I know that, there's never been a time that I've seen staff so, they shine, they just light up when they have families and family members and coworkers that share something that they've been working so hard on. And it really means a lot. So I just want to take a minute. We've had so much of that this year. And I know that is not your priority, because you've got a million things on your list, but it really makes a difference. And so I just want to thank you for sharing those moments of gratitude or excitement or celebration, because it's, they're doing multiple jobs just like you guys are, and trying to do it really well, and partner with families that some families need more support, some families want less support, and trying to personalize that for the 600 plus children on this campus. So with that, we'll see what questions or comments or thoughts people have, so that we can, make sure everyone feels the most informed.
A question is, how is the NWEA testing going to be affected, since it's scheduled for possibly the first week back? It seems like that's not setting up kids to do well, giving it maybe their first day back since March.
Yeah, so I think it's actually set up for the second week after we return. It's set up for the week of the 19th. And so I think it's towards the end of that week.
No, it's set up for the week of the 26th.
26th, thank you, I'm sorry. The week of the 26th. So we've got a week buffer there. Some children might start a little earlier. I know Nikki and I have talked about maybe some kids will start a little earlier. Either way, we want to help. It'll be a seamless thing. It's not the end of the world. It's not the most important thing. But as I've shared before, we're using this year with an additional program. Many of you know Khan Academy. And so Khan Academy and NWA have partnered together. And so, this one shot in time, and it gets harder and easier based on how they answer the questions, will help to put them in a learning structure through Khan Academy that will help staff to give you more ideas for specific personalized work at home when they're not on campus. So we're excited about that. We think that'll be helpful.
Okay, there's some discussion about the spreadsheet on cases, like it looks as though it hasn't been updated, but that's really because there's no additional cases. So we're just kind of discussing over there the best way to do that. There's a comment, the Indiana dashboard shows much lower numbers than were just reported. Are you able to guide us to an additional source to find the COVID numbers you shared?
Well, if you hover on our county, what we've always used is the unique numbers. About a month ago, Indiana moved from the unique cases. So like if I get tested every 2 weeks just because I want to see if I'm positive, that sometimes can inflate the number in the wrong direction. It might not be real. And so they always use the unique numbers. So only the people that got tested for the first time get counted. And so now they switch to the other. So you have to hover now to get to that unique. So if you go to the site and you click the positivity county distributions and hover, you'll see that the unique individuals is 11.2%. In Harrison County, it's 8.1, and in Clark, it's 10.3. And so those are the numbers that we've used since the beginning.
So it looks like we've taken the comments and updated the sheet to show, like, you can tell when it's been visited, and it's not just that no new cases have been posted on there. So thanks, Parina. Just someone asking about if they were on the wait list, do they need to do anything else? And I just let them know they do not. Once they're on the wait list, they'll be notified if there's any spaces that become available. Any other questions? I think I'm caught up to all the questions that are in the chat right now. There's a comment, the state of Indiana has a school database. Why is CM info suppressed there?
Well, I have to think about that a minute. I don't know if Susan's on the call, but they will only utilize the numbers if they are quantitatively, so that people can't figure out who's who. And so I think our school, because we're smaller, might be suppressed in what you're looking at. So she's talking about the new database that the state put out. I think it started at the end of last week.
Yeah, and she put it's the same coronavirus.in.gov link, but then another parent commented because we have less than 5 cases.
Yeah.
So just a thank you to the staff for all that we're doing to keep the children safe. Valor, there's a hope we stay less than 5. So comments still now. Any other questions from anybody on the call?
Okay, well, feel free to add any comments before you leave to let us know how you're feeling about where we are in the plan. That keeps, you know, I know I hear from many of you, you email me and so forth, but that will just help us from our communication today. So I look forward to talking to you again on October 20th. Like, what month are we in? So until then, thank you all so much. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Just one more question, Barbara. The guide to the information showing over 1,000 cases for Indiana. Somebody only found 800.
So if you look at, let's see, so there's an article, if you email me, I'll send you this article, which goes over the whole, like over a period of the last week and a half. When we open to stage 5, what's happened on each day. I'd be happy to send you that article from the Indy Star.
Okay. The rest are just thank yous happening right now.
Okey doke. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
I'm going ahead and ending the recording right now, but I'll stay on.